Every year we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, a figure who has shaped the course of history, culture, and religion for over 2 millennia. But have you ever wondered exactly where Jesus was born and when? We all know the date we celebrate, December 25th, but is that really the day? And if not, how can we figure out how he was born? In today's video, we're going to explore the fascinating approach to answering this question, focusing on the stars, planets, in the night sky that may have guided the Magi to Bethlehem. One of the most iconic aspects of the story of Jesus' birth is the Star of Bethlehem. The Bible tells us that three wise men, known as the Magi, followed a star in the east to find the newborn king. But was that a star? Could it have been a comet, supernova, or perhaps something more subtle, like a rare planetary alignment? In today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into astronomical evidence and try to answer this age-old mystery of when Jesus was really born. Let's start with some context. While we don't have any birth records of Jesus, most scholars agree on a few things. Jesus was likely born sometime between 4 BC and 6 BC. This estimate comes with the historical evidence we have surrounding King Herod the Great, who, according to the Gospel of Matthew, ordered the massacre of infants in Bethlehem when he heard about the birth of the new king of the Jews. Now, Herod's death is one of the key points that helps us narrow down the timeline. Jewish historian, this guy, who lived just a few decades after Jesus' death, recorded a lunar eclipse that occurred shortly before Herod's death. By looking at ancient astronomical records, scholars have pinpointed the eclipse to be March 13th, 4 BC. Since the Gospel states that Jesus was born at least 2 years before Herod's death, we can estimate that Jesus was born sometime between 6 and 4 BC. Here's where things get very interesting. While we have a rough idea of when Jesus was born based on Harold's timeline, it's the stars and planets that will give us a more precise clue. Let's talk about the star of Bethlehem. The Bible tells us that the Magi, who were likely astrologers or astronomers, saw a star in the sky that signaled the birth of Jesus. But was it a literal star, or could it have been an astronomical event? Some scholars believe that the star of Bethlehem wasn't a star at all, but a comet. In 5 BC, Chinese astronomers recorded a comet they called the Broom Star, which was visible for 70 days. Could this have been the same comet that the Magi saw? It's possible. The timing of this comet, appearing in the spring of 5 BC, lines up with the Bible says the shepherds were in the field, a year when the lamb was born, and when the weather is milder. Now, let's shift gears and look at another possibility. Star Bethlehem might not have been a comet at all. Instead, it could have been a rare planetary alignment in 6 BC, a triple conjunction with Saturn and Jupiter. A triple conjunction is when three planets are very close to each other in the sky. And this particular alignment was especially significant to astrologers at the time. Jupiter, the king of gods, was associated with royalty and kingship, while Saturn was associated with the Jewish people. A rare alignment like this could have very well been seen as a sign that the new king had been born. This rare conjunction would have been visible over a few months, and it occurred in the spring of 6 BC, a time when the Magi could have been following this celestial event, interpreting it as a royal birth. According to American historian Michael Molnar, this alignment was significant enough to be seen as an omen of royal birth. On April 17th, 6 BC, Jupiter rose just before sunrise in an event known as the Heliacal Rising, which would have been interpreted as a special auspicious sign. This rare event would have confirmed to the Magi that the new king had been born, which matches perfectly with the Gospel's account of the Magi following the star to find Jesus. These astronomical events, comet in 5 BC and the planetary alignment in 6 BC, provide strong evidence that Jesus was born during the spring months, not in the winter as the modern Christmas date suggests. So based on the stars, the most likely time for Jesus' birth was between 6 and 4 BC, likely in the spring. Now you might be wondering why we celebrate Jesus' birthday on December 25th, if it is likely happened during the spring. Well, that's an interesting story behind that too. The date, December 25th, wasn't chosen because it's Jesus' actual birthday, but because it coincides with the Roman festival of Sol Invictus, of the unconditioned sun. unconquered sun, which celebrates the winter solstice. Early Christians may have chosen the date to align with the solstice festival in an effort to make Christianity more appealing to Roman converts. Another theory suggests that December 25th was chosen because it's exactly 9 months after March 25th, the day early Christians believed Jesus was conceived. They believed Jesus was conceived and crucified on the same day of the year, which would be make his birth on the December 25th exactly 9 months later. So while December 25th has become the traditional date we celebrate Jesus' birth, the stars of the planet seem to point to springtime birth in 6 to 4 BC. Whether it was a comet, planetary alignment, or both, the heavens may have been signaling something extraordinary: birth of a king. Thank you. Make sure you hit like and subscribe so I can keep making these. I appreciate it.